That's really the problem with Chevy Chase, is he's a giant dickbag. That's how we started the stream out. That's the problem with Chevy Chase. He's a giant dickbag.
I'm a little bit loud.
You're loud? Or
No,
Matt's loud?
Matt's a little bit loud.
Oh, should I?
No. We can tackle it on our end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep talking for me, Matt.
Hi, Chevy Chase. Maryland is a wonderful town.
Okay.
Outside of Washington, D.C.
You're good now.
Okay.
All right. A video game podcast.
Who would have thunk it?
That's what we do. We do video game podcasts.
Tomorrow's the 25th.
May 25th, 2017. And you're listening to Talking Games Podcast. I'm Bobby Sherrill. I'm here with Justin Townsend.
That was an opening.
And Matt Wood.
It's the 40th anniversary of Star Wars.
Time to Star Wars. Start the clock.
Milliseconds
In. Time to Star Wars.
Yep.
The Wood family. Time to Star Wars is always very short.
It's unhealthy.
Yeah, it's a lot of Star Wars. Vanity Fair published some pictures today, right? Like some photos. One of Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, which has been making the rounds quite a bit.
Those are nice photos.
They are very nice photos. Star Wars.
Laura Dern.
It's a game. Yeah, Laura Dern, Benicio del Toro. What's the deal with them? And
very excited about anything Laura Dern.
Yeah, it's cool. Laura Dern is also in this current season of The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is interesting.
And Twin Peaks.
That's true.
Yeah.
She's a very good fit for Twin Peaks. Like it.
Yeah,
makes total sense.
She's been in a lot of Lynch stuff.
That's true. That's very true.
It's about time.
Yeah. Well, it's been 25 years since the last episode of Twin Peaks. So
26 technically, but
26. Okay. I've never seen Twin Peaks.
Me either.
Though it seems like the kind of thing that I would like. My wife loves it.
My approach, I never push Twin Peaks on anybody because it's one of those things that you like it or you don't like it, and I say if you want to try it out, but go for it.
Thank you for the very
enthusiastic.
Yeah, the very like, oh man, it's cool, man. It's cool. If you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. If you don't, it's okay.
It's very jarring, and that's the thing. It's just, I don't. Some people just love it. Some people just think it's nonsense, and I don't know. It's one of those things that when you meet someone else that likes it, you're like, oh, great, awesome. But if you meet someone that's like, oh, I hate that show, I get it.
Yeah. Well, I think with my wife especially that when I really want her to watch something, I'm as like withdrawn about it as possible. I'm like, yeah, you might, you might like it,
right? Because
I know that's the way to get her to watch it. Because if I'm like, oh my god, this was the best thing, I loved it so much, you need to watch it, it's automatically never going to happen.
Don't want to oversell it.
No, don't want to oversell it. Because then she feels like a pressure to to enjoy it. So, and plus, I think everyone has that little bit of like, yeah, you're overselling it, like feeling to them when people go really hard on something like that. So I've learned to back off of that. I have to stealthily get her to watch things.
Marriage is weird.
It's very weird. Yeah. So video games. We have. This is our deep dive week on games. This is the week where we kind of forego the usual segment structure that we have, and we just sort of go full bore into the games that we've been playing and talk for longer about them. This week also happens to be the week where Destiny 2 has been revealed since between the podcasts, where we had like predictions show hours before it happened, and we're wrong about almost all of it. But we have concrete news now. We're definitely going to talk a little bit about that since that's of general interest. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I'd really like that the install screen for the PlayStation is creating this cool like blue backlight for us. It looks like we're lighting the back of our set a little bit here.
Have to do that more often.
Yeah, it's a good.
Too bad it's over in 1 second.
Yeah.
Yep, there it goes.
A good hack for everybody. Oh, is that music going to start playing? Your crazy theme music?
No. Maybe. Actually, I need to get up.
Until Dawn is starting. We are installing Until Dawn because we are starting our next series of Monster Closet tonight. We finished Resident Evil 7 last week. The final part of that is going to go up Friday. So you'll see the end of that if you didn't watch it live. But we're starting Until Dawn, which I am very excited about. I don't think Justin's particularly excited about it, but
that was a really good game.
Yeah, it is a really good game.
Yeah,
it's a very, very good game.
Yeah,
I'll be the judge of that.
But I want to ask, actually, before this is kind of on point because of what just happened, we finished Resident Evil 7.
We did
last week.
And a bit of a marathon session there.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours we played for. It was one of our longer sessions. We had a lot of people watching on Twitch. More people than we expected, for sure.
More.
We definitely, it's funny because the purpose of the live stuff is really as like a backup, just in case something goes horribly wrong with the local recording. And so we're like, oh, we'll just put it up there. We're not going to promote too much. People watch, they watch. But last week we had like 10 people at one point watching at the same time.
Which isn't like a huge number for streaming at all, but it is huge for
us.
For us or for me. Like,
yeah,
I felt the pressure a bit.
10 concurrent viewers is most people don't get 10 concurrent viewers per thing. Like that's a pretty good thing. But yeah, it was cool though. It was cool. We had interaction from the chat, which was really, really nice. We're streaming again tonight. If again, this will be late for people who are actually listening to the podcast, and we're gonna try out a new show as well, called Modified.
Yep.
Do you have Hitman installed right now?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Cool. We're gonna do this Hitman. But why don't you tell us what you thought of Resident Evil 7? Now we've been kind of saving it until you're done with it. And you wanted your thoughts on the recording, but dive in here.
I enjoyed it overall. I think it is a very good game for 3/4 of your time spent playing it, and then the last quarter of it really goes off the rails a little bit. I really enjoyed the, quote unquote Metroidvania aspect of the game a lot. I liked being in the house. I liked the that enclosed feeling of being in the house and it being a horror game that does something a little bit different. I enjoyed some of the boss fights and hated others with a passion.
Yes.
I think your first boss fight against Jack is really cool. Like,
the one in the garage?
The one in the garage,
Yeah,
I think, is a fantastic. Like, it could be like moment. Like, if we do moments of the year, that will probably be on my list because it is such a weird boss fight. Like, at one point, you're fighting a Camaro for the most part, and it's like it gives you that sense of like claustrophobia, where it's like, okay, this car is spinning around in the garage, and it's not a big place; it's going to hit me, and that like made me panic a bit and do things that I shouldn't have done. So I thought all that was really good. Without spoilers or anything, I think the ending goes a little bit too action heavy. You mean
like from?
I'll say the last.
I don't want to spoil anything either. That's why I'm making weird, unintelligible noises.
Once you start picking up items that you don't see at all.
Okay. So basically, what we played
that
last
day,
week?
Okay. Pretty much like the last real big chapter of the game.
I mean, to be fair, I will say that you do get a lot of weapons and stuff, and I think that when you there was two distinct parts of what we did last week. There's a very clear dividing line, right, between like the first part and the second part.
True.
I think that second part, I totally agree with you, which is going to lead up to the very end of the game, because you not only have all the items that you've spent the whole game building up, but you get all these new items that you collected in the last hour of the game. I feel like the section of that game where those items first appear, you're not too overpowered. You were definitely having moments where you were in trouble, for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think it was a much more open thing.
Yeah.
I liked not being able to get into certain doors. Like that part, the part where you're on the ship is fine. Like that part was fine. It's the little bit after that.
Yeah, I got you. Sure.
The last like two major boss battles I thought were just, one was garbage and the other one was crazy garbage. The boss battles before that were good.
Yeah, there's a big battle with like a big monster with a lot of eyes that very much, I would say, annoyed Justin.
Just a bit.
And if you watch the video, there's some yelling that happens on that video.
Some choice words.
Yes. I think he calls it a stupid fucking game.
Multiple times.
Each in ascending volume. That boss fight didn't bother me too much. I think the very last boss fight, it's just, it feels like it's there because they feel like they have to have a boss fight at the end.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in with the rest of the game.
You know, because it's basically just a bullet dump. You're just like jumping bullets into this monster, and that's it. There's no strategy to it. It's just how many bullets can you dump straight into this monster's head for as long as possible, and that's really it. And I mean, the game is at its best, right? When you're talking about when you're doing the things that Resident Evil has always done, and we talked about this, Matt, when you were back when the game first came out, is that when you're puzzle solving and when you're trying to figure out like okay, I got to find these items to open this door, or figure out where this key is, or figure out, what item I use to do this shadow puzzle to get into this place. That's when the game's at its best, because that's when the game is returning to sort of its adventure game roots in a lot of way that I think a lot of Resident Evil, it's always my favorite part of Resident Evil, is like that weird sort of puzzle game aspect of it, where even like, look, it's annoying when you're like, when you try to pick something up and your inventory's full, for sure. But the inventory management, I feel like, is even part of that, where you're like, okay, what should I carry now to do this and do that? I really enjoy that part of the game. And the part where you're fighting bosses is always, to me, in every Resident Evil game, the least interesting part.
Yeah. I said like those first, especially the first two against Jack, are upset, like terrifying in a different way. Not like what you're experiencing is like visual horror, but it is just this feeling of like, I am powerless and I need to, like, I don't know how I'm going to survive this.
Yeah.
And then the boss battles from there just get worse and worse and worse. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was sad when it was over. I've had that song stuck in my head.
The ending credit song.
The ending credit song. I might have listened to a few different times throughout the week. But whatever Resident Evil 8 is, we'll play it for Monster Closet.
Yeah, I'm excited to see whatever that is, and I'm excited to see when Not a Hero comes out, the DLC.
Sure.
Because I've liked the DLC up until now. So, and that's supposed to be a pretty big story-based thing. The cool thing about I'll say the DLC that they put out so far is a mix, right? There's like they have a couple of sort of like survival mode things in it. One of which is sort of like a horde mode type of put up traps and kill like waves of enemies as they come, which is all combat, which you can imagine is not the most fun part.
It's not the best part of that game at all.
Of doing that. It's an interesting mode and there's some cool stuff you can do, but overall it's just a lot of shooting and stuff like that, which is not so great. They do have one where it's like a mode you can play where it's like you hit once and you die, type of thing, which again is very frustrating. But if you enjoy the challenge of the game, that's something you can do. The ones I've liked, there have been a couple like really puzzle focused ones that have been very cool. And there's one prequel one where you see the origins of what happens to the Baker family.
Oh, cool.
You play from the perspective of Zoe, which is kind of cool. It's very short, so that's the only shitty thing about it. The best one is the one I told you about, which is like an escape room thing, where you're playing as a character who's stuck and kind of tied to this bed, and you're type in Marguerite's room, and you have to try to get out that room. And she comes in periodically, and if you move stuff around and haven't put it back, she like freaks out and like beats you.
Fun.
Yeah, very fun. But yeah, we finished Resident Evil 7, so that's pretty cool.
We beat a video game together.
Yeah, we did. Well, you beat it. I just
watched.
Made weird voices as you walked through. But yeah, it's cool that we finished. That's a 2017 game to cross off your list too, which is nice. We crossed two paths. We got a game you need to go off your list, and we created content. So worked out.
We should do that more often.
I know. We're not doing that this time though.
Damn it.
But yeah, very cool. Resident Evil 7. Matt, on our Discord chat, you had said, I've been playing a remake of an NES game. Is that what it was?
Famicom. It never came out in America. Yeah,
gotcha.
It's Fire Emblem. Some name behind the Fire Emblem. I sort of Valencia.
You had one game, Matt, and you couldn't even remember the name of that one game.
You know, it's nonsense words. But yeah, no, it's the new remake, and to say it's just a straight remake of a Famicom game is being generous. I mean, it's the same story, but of course it's been overhauled completely. I assume if it is a direct remake of a Famicom game, it was the most ambitious Famicom game ever made.
What is it out for, by the way? What is it out for?
3DS.
3DS. Okay, Matt. It is Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valencia. Valentia.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
I don't know how you didn't remember that.
Right, exactly. For the new 3DS XL Lite. No, it's the new release in the Fire Emblem, which I like Fire Emblem a whole lot, and it was one of those things that I was kind of apprehensive towards for a long time, just because I thought that wouldn't be in my wheelhouse. Had a very anime vibe, and and those that are familiar with my wife Mara might be surprised, but I don't like anime or manga really all that much, even though there's a whole bunch of it in my house. But no, I tried it out, and it's a ton of fun. It's a strategy game. It's a lot of patience, but just like every other Fire Emblem game, once a character in your party dies, that's it. Unless you quickly reset the system and try
unless
again.
Your saves come in.
Make sure that they survive.
Yeah,
exactly. Which, hey, I've done a couple of times. It's a lot of fun, but man, it takes no verbally here cutscenes and dialogue before you can do really anything. So it takes a while before start actually playing the game. And I'm not even talking like, oh, I have to do this mini game or tutorial or anything like that. It's literally just characters talking about who cares, so on and so forth. And there's a story there, but it's really paper thin.
So you're not into the Fire Emblem stories, or the other stories in other games good?
No, I liked not Fates and Echoes, Fire Emblem Awakening, the one that came out the 3DS years and years ago.
Yeah, the first one for the 3DS.
Quite a bit. Granted, it was my first Fire Emblem, which might be a contributing factor, but this one's about two kids that grew up together. They're separated. Fate's kind of bringing them together, and it's pretty run of the mill. But then again, at the same time, that story was written for a video game in like 87, 88, so
right.
it's forgivable, but it's a lot of really bland voice acting, and you're just kind of pressing A, until everybody shuts up and lets you fight. But no, I've been enjoying it. There's some interesting dungeon exploring aspects to it, which is not in any Fire Emblem game I've really played before. So that's a pretty fun aspect. Have y'all ever played any of the Fire Emblem games?
Negative.
I played Awakening. I played a good amount of Awakening, probably like 10 or 15 hours of it. That was my first Fire Emblem game. It'd always been a series that I'd always heard of. Had played a lot of the characters in Smash Brothers. Of course, the new Smash Brothers is basically Super Smash Brothers Fire Emblem, because every character they introduce is a Fire Emblem character. But and I played a little bit of that phone game that came out this year as well, which I enjoyed. I like it. I like turn-based strategy stuff, and I think with Awakening they really hit a nice sweet spot with allowing more casual play of it, because I think that was always kind of the scary thing about the game was like I think obviously now a lot of that has been relaxed because we've seen a lot of games come out in the last couple of years. They're like, if you die, that character's dead and you have to start over, or blah, 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 whatever. Right. That's like a feature set now in a lot of games. Yeah. But back then I was a little nervous about it, but I liked it a lot. I mean, I think that, I really like turn-based strategy games. My only thing is that sometimes I feel like the strategy is often out of my hands at certain moments. Like, I just don't understand the high level enough, I think, to really be great at them. And so sometimes I feel like, well, I can only move 5 spaces with this one character, and then this computer controlled enemy is going to hit me with some attack that's going to like hit all of my people and knock 3 of them out. And then like, what strategy can I possibly have to combat that? So
yeah, there's a lot of just let it roll and hope for the best. And that's kind of, it's not a very interactive thing. To an extent, you just kind of feel like you're moving pieces on the board and hoping for the best. You can't defend yourself. I get it. It feels like a lot of it's out of your hands, and that's kind of one of my big issues with it too. But one of the things I do love about Fire Emblem, and it does make you care about these characters, especially because they're constantly trying to hook up with each other.
Yes, that's what I really liked about Awakening. I liked that a lot. Like, I'm going to put these two characters next to each other on the board, and like every time they have a turn, little hearts are going to come out of their head because they're getting more of a relationship. I liked that. And
I like currently right now I have these two guys that are, they're kind of flirting with each other, and I'm all about making that happen. But one of them's like really moody, and I'm like, nah, this guy can do better than that. I'm worried that they're going to end up loving each other, and I can't have that. I might send someone to the front lines.
Matt, that seems a little harsh.
He could smile every once in a while, and
oh boy,
just you put a little happiness in the world, and the world will return the favor.
He is sadistic, yeah. He's a little bit of eugenics too. You're trying to make sure you can perfectly craft your world with deciding who gets to be with who.
Hey, if I got to play God, I'll play God.
Mm-hmm. Be happy or die.
Yeah, and what was it? Master Chalice that came out a couple years ago. Another turn-based strategy game. That was a big part of that game was like you would have warriors, and as they get older, you would like retire them and like marry them off, and you would want to try to like they'd have traits both negative and positive, and you'd want to try to breed the negative traits out of like your warriors and stuff like that. And so you would like retire. It was this weird push and pull because you wouldn't want to retire really good warriors early to like send them off to the breeding farm or whatever, but the bad warriors you wouldn't want to retire and marry off because you would spread their kind of bad genes throughout the thing. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like the not you had any control over it, but in Rogue Legacy, how you have like ancestors who had like there was that similar thing because you were kind of in control of. Because then when they would have babies or whatever, they would grow up and they would be your next soldiers. And you would recruit them into your army.
Video games are weird.
Video games are very weird.
Yeah.
They teach you some very bad habits, I think. My question to you, Matt, is do you think... I think if this had been 5 years ago or 6 years ago, a remake of a Famicom Fire Emblem game that never came out in America would have set like the Fire Emblem base into a happy frenzy because they were like, oh my God, they're finally putting these games out here and stuff like that. But now we've gotten a lot of Fire Emblem in the last couple of years, a lot of new Fire Emblem and a lot of really good Fire Emblem. And matter of fact, the last time they put a Fire Emblem game out, they put out 3 games in one package. Do you think that there's a little bit of Fire Emblem fatigue with this one?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't feel like their heart's in it. They're doing weird things with the season pass, the DLC, making it more expensive than the game itself. Nintendo will every once in a while, just like any other company, just drive it into the ground. And it used to be nice. I assume for most Fire Emblem fans, like I said, I wasn't at one until Awakening came out. But by the time, say, Smash Melee came out, they finally put one on like the Game Boy, and they put one on Game Boy Advance. They put one on GameCube. They would trickle out, but now, we got Awakening, then we got Echoes and Fates, and then the other one that came with Echoes and Fates, and then we got 18 characters in Smash Brothers. We have this one. We have the phone game. There's one of those Hyrule Fire Emblem Warriors coming out. It just seems like, pump the brakes a little bit, maybe. Yeah, and the thing is, too, Nintendo has another franchise that's strategy. They have Advance Wars, and we haven't seen another Advance Wars since the original DS. We're never going to.
It's never going to happen. No, it's never going to happen. Well, because Intelligent Systems, all they have, they meant to put out so many Fire Emblem games, they don't have time to make an Advance Wars game.
No, and why try it? Those games never really caught fire, and Fire Emblem did. So Nintendo's never going to, try that gamble, especially if name one Advance Wars character. I've played 2 of the games and I can't. So,
but maybe if they push it the way they push Fire Emblem, it would get that.
Put a character in Smash Brothers or something.
Yeah, exactly. Not just like a assist trophy tank or whatever.
Exactly.
Marth.
There's a sticker.
Marth is from Fire Emblem.
Roy.
Yes, he's a Fire Emblem character.
Yeah. That's it.
That's really.
You can do.
That's literally it.
You didn't play a lot of the new Smash Brothers, then, did you?
I don't pay attention to their names.
So many.
I don't pay attention to their names. Why do I need to know? You know how long it took me to remember Marth and Roy?
Lucina, right? That was one of them.
Lucina,
That was
yeah.
one of them.
Robin.
I really like playing as Robin. He has he or she has like all the magic, the magic book that does all that stuff. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You bring up Robin. Whenever you play a game where you can pick the gender of the character, which one do you go with?
I usually go with girl.
I used to just make me.
Yeah.
Now, for the last couple of years, I make Ange. And then every now and again, I'll make an adult child. I'll make one of my children as an adult.
But those poor children have so much despair and heartache. I usually do a female character. I've taken to trying to I usually make characters who are the farthest away from looking like me possible. So someone that's like it'll be like a black woman. I've been a black man in Battlegrounds. Just like seeing what the character. I used to try to make myself all the time, and now that kind of bores me because I'm like, oh, whatever. I can't. How many bald guys with glasses can I make?
I usually try and make Ange a lot.
Yeah, I did that in Fall of Fortune to make Karen, and like the faces in Bethesda games are not kind.
No.
So I just put a lot of sunglasses and stuff on her so that you can see like the eye area because it was really weird looking. And I usually when it's not like a game where I have to read the name a lot or like it's not a serious game that you get to choose the name of your character, I'll do this weird combination of Karen and I's name. It'd be Cabby is usually what it is. Or Baron is the other one.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Very adorable.
Yeah. That'll do it. Unless it's like I can't do it if it's something that's going to be in text for like every single cutscene or something like that.
Prey lets you choose main two characters like a brother and a sister and lets you choose which one you want to play as.
Yeah.
So I chose Morgan. She's a girl.
I think you're Morgan no matter what.
But I think you could play as Alex.
No, I think it's Morgan and Morgan. I think no matter what, Alex is your brother.
Oh.
I think.
Okay, that makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, because Alex is a rather large individual.
Yeah, yes. Because if you look
I was like, is she gonna be large if they swap this? Okay, so you always play as Morgan, the brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you look at the character portraits, they're different than the one that you see as Alex.
Okay.
I only played the demo, but I know that's the truth. I
think anytime you can customize a character, anytime it's available, I want an eye patch on whatever character I have.
Yeah, eye patch is good. I do like the face scar a lot of times.
I want someone to break something down to explain what that says about me. I always want to be a woman with an eye patch, and I don't know.
You were born about 200 years too late.
Yeah, and incorrectly.
Yeah. I always do like the face scar, the one that's like above the eye and below the eye. You know, the John Locke scar.
Kylo
Ren-ish, yes, as well. Yes,
Ooh.
I do that kind of scar always. Man or woman, it doesn't matter.
He's got a new scar, and it's pretty sweet.
We saw the photo.
We went back to Star Wars.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
I heard Matt go, Star Wars.
Yeah. Kylo Ren. It's like, even Kylo Ren, I can talk about him. Sure, I'm not even that big of a fan, but whatever I can do.
Well, let's move away from Star Wars and talk about something that we talk about in this podcast quite a bit, and that's Destiny 2.
I like
Destiny.
I like
Destiny.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's sort of. There's some Star Wars-esque.
Yeah,
Definitely
speeder bikes and stuff.
Speeder bikes and the new subclass you got in the Taken King for the Warlock shoots out electricity out of its hands like the Emperor. So there's that.
Palpatine.
There are flaming swords.
There are flaming swords, but every time I do the special with the lightning, I go ultimate power.
I'm so glad we don't play that.
We will at some point.
You can't use a mic
In Destiny?
You're at home. That was always your excuse in the beginning. I can't play because I can't talk late at night.
Yeah, I can't usually talk late at night, but if we do a scheduled stream of it, then I will.
I'm busy.
I will talk on a mic. So they did a gameplay reveal for Destiny 2, and they gave us some details. Still some details not there, but they showed us what the interface looks like. They talked about story. They talked about the content of the game as far as like what the side quests are going to be, strikes, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, and some quality of life stuff. What were you struck most by, Justin, in the reveal?
Sure looks like Destiny.
Does look a lot like Destiny.
That was the main thing I took away. Is that
it's not surprising?
No.
Yeah.
The good parts of Destiny are awfully good, so why change it?
Exactly.
There's a ton of people right now just using this isn't Destiny 2, it's Destiny 1.5. It's more Destiny.
Yeah.
So who cares? Certainly not me.
I mean, it's an all new story. It's got new modes. It's got new content. It's Destiny 2.
It's Destiny 2. It's it's 4 new locations to go to.
Right. And we don't know. That's one of the things we don't know how big those locations are yet.
Bigger.
They're definitely gonna be bigger than the ones that were in the main game, the original game. But how big each of those are is yet to be seen.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about using like finding quests out in the open world and finding NPCs out there that you could talk to that will give you quests.
This felt a little bit like a Nintendo press conference because they were like touting features of a game that you would have touted 7 or 8 years ago.
Yo, you want to travel from planet to planet? We can do that now.
We can do that now. It's not even the plan. So people did not play Destiny. One of the things you had to do when you wanted to, if you did a mission, if you wanted to leave that mission and go do anything else, even if it was on the same planet, you had to go up to orbit, which was a loading out to orbit, pick your next mission, and go back down into orbit, and go back down onto the planet. Now you can pull up a map and travel anywhere, any of the planets from the map. You don't have to go into orbit.
This is such a big deal.
Which is a huge deal. It's like the most exciting thing in the world to me about this game. And I'm most excited because if I'm doing multiple missions on the same planet, it's really good that I don't have to load out of the planet and load back into it again. That's the biggest thing for me. Like going to a different planet, like, yeah, it's great that we can skip to other planets and that's awesome. And it's going to be good quality of life. But just the fact that now we can go on the same planet and not have to go back to a load is awesome.
The things that stood out to me is Destiny is really good at a couple of different things. One is shooting. Shooting just feels great in those games.
Yes, shooting is like maybe the best console shooting.
They have the best skyboxes in games.
Bungie.
Bungie does. And it looks like it continues in this game.
Mm-hmm.
The concept art that they shows some really wild looking things. I've been trying to stay away from videos of it. I just decided I didn't want to see anything. Once I saw the new Titan Captain America shield bash, I was like, oh, well, that's all I need to see.
Yeah.
But I ended up watching Giant Bomb play through the Strike today, and it was just a really good looking strike. Like the weapons seem, the weapon's name was, God, why can't I remember the name of it? I'll find it in a second, but just like cool looking weapons, newer looking weapons. There was an SMG class now. They've changed PvP to, instead of 6-on-6, it's now 4-on-4.
It's all 4-on-4.
I'm not positive I like that change very much at all, because I usually have a large group playing Destiny.
Yeah.
And I hope that one day they just like at the next E3 or whatever, they're like, new 6-on-6 modes. Awesome. The gun's name was Sweet Business.
Okay.
It's an amazing. They're so good at
They're
naming.
good at the names for the guns.
They're really good at naming
They're
guns.
good at names for guns, for sure.
Just so you know, this gun, if you hold down, it's a chain gun.
Okay.
If you hold down the trigger, it boosts the weapon's range and rate of fire and automatically loads ammo pickups into the magazine.
That's cool.
So
that's pretty neat.
Yes.
Yeah, so they changed the weapon classes.
Yeah, so kinetic, power, heavy?
It's not heavy because that's
not heavy.
They're all different names now.
It's kinetic and power are 2, and
I have a thing up here. I can look for it. But kinetic and power, so they've gotten rid of like the light, heavy, like the sidearm, normal, heavy, whatever.
Primary, secondary, and heavy.
Heavy, that's what it was. They've gotten rid of those distinctions, and now you can apparently move guns in between the different things.
So you could have a auto rifle in your first 2 slots, and then a sniper rifle, a shotgun, a grenade launcher, like a heavier weapon in your like 3rd slot, which is weird because you usually would have your shotgun or sniper rifle in your 2nd slot. So it's just like it's going to be balancing weapons the way that you want to balance them now. Like
power is the 3rd one. So essentially the heavy weapon, but
anything they had said, like anything that could do a 1-shot kill, they're putting down there. So shotguns, sniper rifles, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, they're all going down there now.
That's interesting. And the other thing too is now there are special abilities other than like your ultimate ability for each class, and they showed off a couple of them. I'm assuming there's going to be, because they're introducing a new subclass for each of the main classes.
I think I'm not 100% on this, but I'm 99. Is like they're replacing some of the subclasses.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not, I thought that was all the subclasses are back, and then they're adding stuff on.
I had thought that I had read that because if you think about it, why would they have a secondary class for, let's say, Arc for the Titan? Although they do, unless it's Void. So, because I know in the Warlock, their Sunslinger class was Solar, but their new Dawnbringer class is also Solar. So why have 2 of one?
I don't know.
And I have yet to see a Titan bubble. So I've seen the Arc thing where he runs around bashing people with the shield.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Striker one, but I haven't seen Void.
I've heard that there is a bubble on the Waypoint show.
Oh, so there's a bubble. All right. So
Yeah.
then, I don't know. I could be totally wrong on this, but I feel like I haven't seen all the supers in the gameplay that I've seen. So I'm wondering if they've replaced them.
Right.
But I could be totally wrong.
But so now, in addition, if you played Destiny before, you have your ultimate ability, you got your super ability, you got like when your thing with Mirror was full, but you also had a grenade and a melee that were on cooldowns, and now there's a third cooldown, which is going to be the special ability, and there's going to be one for each class. It's going to be different. So they showed off a couple of them. They showed one of the Warlock, like basically jumping in the air and raining down all these like fiery projectiles on everybody. There's also apparently one that you can like pop up like a healing, like almost like a Lucio like healing bubble. That if you can run around and like heal people around you with this
They did.
this thing.
They replaced subclasses.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah. So the new subclass replaces whatever it is, whatever element you're using, it replaces a previous one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So Destiny's Titan's Defender, the Blade Dancer, and the Warlock Sunsinger they're out of the game.
Okay.
And these new ones are slotting in there.
All right, I'm okay with that because the Sunslinger was my least favorite.
Sunslinger is Laz's favorite, so he'll be very upset. I'm not going to tell him.
Yeah. So they showed stuff. They actually showed the interface, and like the class interface is much more
Streamlined,
and like my biggest problem with the Destiny subclass menus before was like you look at them and it's like kind of like when you see like a big wall of text on a comic book page. Like my eyes just like glazed over. I was like, I do not want to read all of what these things are. And this is a much more like, here are your grenades. Like here are like the couple of things. Yeah. Here are the things. Here are the things. Here's the jump. It just is a much better designed interface. They talked more about, like you said, about story stuff and about how there's going to be, there are characters to talk to was a big part of it, which is a funny thing to promote, but is awesome. It seems like there's going to be more repeatable tasks going on in the game. There's going to be secret areas that unlock at certain times, kind of like dungeon areas that are going to have like their own bosses and stuff like that in them. They're going to publicize right in the game when events are going to happen, when public events are going to happen, so you don't have to like go to an app to figure that out.
Yeah. No more having to go to LFG.
No. Yeah, no more looking for group. They're doing this thing called guided games now, which is basically a way for people who don't have big groups to see all of the content in the game. How it works out with actual human beings interacting with each other, we'll have to see.
You know, I can only speak from experience, but my group has used LFG a ton of times and doesn't always work out, but for the most part it does.
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting people being assholes coming in there.
Right.
They're looking to do a raid.
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay and able to communicate, I think it's a great idea.
Oh, it's an awesome idea. And I think it, again, fixes one of the biggest issues with Destiny 1, which is that there's all this content that you're kind of locked out of if you don't have a group of people to play it with.
Yeah.
Because there was never any matchmaking for the raids. So this makes a way that you can get somebody else in. And it could be raids. It could be higher level just strikes or even story content or whatever. Stuff. You know, obviously the Nightfall stuff and stuff like that. So it's very cool they're doing that stuff. And I think there's a lot of quality of life improvements here. We talked about last week that there's a rumor that it was going to be on both console and PC and be like cross save. That's not true.
Not true.
It was going to be 60 frames a second on both. That's not true. It's going to be 30 on console and unlocked on PC. So you could have up to like 144 frames per second, I think was what they said, to play that game if your rig can handle it. It can play in 4K. Apparently, the PC version was very good. That's what I heard.
Yes.
It's tough because, like we talked about last week, everybody I know who plays the game plays on PS4. So
it's launching first on PS4.
It is. They're doing like that old like it's coming on PC a little bit later. They haven't released a date for it. It could be a week later. It could be 2 weeks later. It could be a month later. We don't know. It's September 8th for the console editions of the game. They didn't really talk about the PS4 exclusive content or anything yet.
No, and I think they have tons of time to still do all that. Like they're gonna have a big E3.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be on that Sony stage for sure.
Sony stage for sure.
Yeah.
And I expect to get a lot more there. I mean, for me, the big takeaway was like they made more Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not any ground sweeping changes. If you played the first Destiny and you didn't like it, I don't know if this will sell you on it. They've made tons of improvements since then, and this improves those improvements even more. But it is still, as far as we've seen so far, it's just more Destiny.
I think it depends on what you didn't like about the first Destiny. You know what I mean? Because I think that if it was a lot of those quality of life things, I think those are going to be eased out and taken away. And I think that, like you said, taking King on, they got a lot better about stories and missions and stuff like that being more dynamic and having characters that actually matter and a story that you could at least sort of understand.
Destiny has a story?
Yeah, apparently.
Weird.
No more Grimoire cards.
They're going to be in the game.
They're going to be in the actual game. And if people don't know, Grimoire cards were lore for Destiny 1 that you would get when you do missions and get weapons and all this kind of stuff that you could not read in the game. You had to go to like the Destiny app to read them, which is a nuts decision. To not at least have like, I don't know why they didn't have an option in the game to read them, but they didn't. So that lore is going to be in the game, which is good because I think that was a lot of what my biggest complaints with Destiny as a video game outside of a social experience, because I think as a social experience, it's wonderful. I think as a game, as far as like traditional narrative and looking at it in the sort of milieu of Bungie's other stuff, was that it was missing that lore and that cohesiveness of narrative and character that those Halo games had.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to actually take time and read the Grimoire cards, especially like I think the Stranger at the end of the base game gives you a gun and there was a card for that. And if you were to read that, you were like, oh, wow, they're talking about stuff being displaced out of time. Like these weapon parts haven't been invented yet. So like, where did they come from? Yeah. And then there's talk of like cycles starting over again. So like all that stuff was super interesting.
Yeah.
And none of it made it into the game. Like we don't know. Like I remember at the time Kotaku, when Destiny was first coming out, was like running all sorts of stories about what those cards meant and what they thought that they meant and what the actual story of Destiny was. Some of it was like kind of Mass Effect-ish. The universe has been erased multiple times and somebody has survived all of that and has come back to hand you this gun. Why?
Yeah.
And it's like, I want all of that awesomeness in the game.
Right. And I think also communicating its systems better in the game. I hope they do that as well, because the stuff with like the different damage types and what they mean and how it affects you and how it affects the people you're facing, they do not do a good job of communicating in the game.
Well, there's even more of that now because like weapon and armor parts will affect different things about you, not just like how your intellect or your grenades or how fast your supercharges. There's like agility bonuses and like you move faster and faster and faster. And they started teasing that stuff in the last raid. Like some armor you would pick up would make you just go fast.
Right.
But now they're like, it's fully blown out.
Yeah, in the new game you're talking about.
Yeah, in the new game, it's fully blown out.
And I hope they're better at communicating that stuff. Because even for me, like I had to ask people, like, what does the different damage things mean? You know? So I hope that they do better with that in this game as well. Yeah, I think so too. I think they've definitely taken into account the stuff that people were not liking about the first game and definitely did some stuff to it. We got a couple of listener questions on Twitter about Destiny 2. Cody Teacher asked what class we're gonna go with. He said he's sticking with Titan. I know that, let's say your first character, because I know you'll end up playing it each time through with each.
I'm always like Titan to start.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be mine.
I'm probably gonna stick with Warlock. Hopefully the jump is better.
It is.
Yeah.
It is better.
Yeah. I mean, the jump, by the time we got through Taken King and Rise of Iron, there was a jump that was better for the Warlock.
That was one of the reports there, was like, hey, it's not so floaty.
That's good. That's really good. Because there were times, look, I'm not the best at the jumping in that game regardless, but there were times where I was like, I don't even understand how you're getting to where you're getting to right now, because the Warlock jump was just so shitty for a while. It took me a long time to realize you could change what your jump was.
You have no excuse for that.
You know?
No excuse for that, Bobby. Come on.
So just because I did not, when like the subclass menu, I did not really dig down to what each of those little bubbles meant. You know, it was like, because at first when I was playing, I thought, oh, it's just gonna be the fourth one that's the best one. But that's true for some of them, but not true for all of them. I was like 6 months into it that I figured that out. But
Fantastic.
I was doing something and I was like, I don't really understand why this jump is so shitty. But yeah. And this is Bad Knee Groon asked, do you think it will be user friendly for those who don't play the raid like myself?
Play the raid.
Well, maybe it doesn't have a group.
Now it doesn't have to.
Exactly. Now, my mic almost fell off the table. Now you don't have to have a group. But if you're playing on PS4, you should know that you have a group waiting for you to play with you.
Bobby will teach you all about the jumps.
I will. I know all about the jumps and the best way they work. So I will definitely teach you how to jump the best in Destiny.
I'm glad you cracked yourself up.
I do, because it's funny to me sometimes. Because it's funny to me because with like 95% of things, I am like a super detail-oriented, like over-analytic about everything. And with that, it just completely passed me by.
Fantastic.
Completely passed me by.
Amazing.
Yeah, totally. Matt, any interest in playing Destiny 2?
I mean, after E3, I'm pretty much interested in everything that comes out, and then I have to let time kind of, dull that. I have to see some more of it. I haven't seen too much of it yet, but I'm definitely not opposed. I never played the first one though.
That's okay.
But I heard it had a rocky start.
It did.
And then they got rid of Peter Dinklage, and everything got better.
Those two things did coincide with each other.
that was when the turn happened. But
though it had little to do with really getting rid of Peter Dinklage.
I know. I just couldn't resist that.
Peter Dinklage was like the touchstone thing for people. It was like the easy thing for people to like make fun of with the game.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Matt, go ahead.
Well, I definitely heard that they did a good job at finding out what works and giving people what they wanted, and that sounds awesome. But yeah, I have to see some more of it before I can say, oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, cool.
It's like a couple weeks, right?
Soon,
June 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that.
Yeah,
3 weeks away.
Something like that. Yeah, not 10th, 11th, 12th, because that's the weekend, I think.
I will look at the calendar and let you know.
It might start on the 12th or 13th or something.
It's in that time.
It starts
frame.
on that Sunday,
yes.
Whatever that is. Michael Zudrow on Twitter said, not a question, but a statement. After 1,000+ hours on the Xbox One of Destiny, I'll be bringing my talents to PS4. So, Michael, you should definitely play with us because you've played over 1,000 hours. So
I have not played that many
hours. We could use those skills for sure.
I play that game a lot.
That is a lot of Destiny.
I have friends who have played. It is Tuesday, June 13th. Oh, wow. So that's when the actual show floor starts. Okay. So it's actually the 11th.
The 11th. Is that Sunday?
The 11th is when the conferences start.
Yeah, like the Bethesda, EA.
Isn't somebody going on Saturday this year?
Maybe
I
EA?
I swear somebody was going on Saturday.
Maybe
I think EA is going Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
And then Xbox
and Bethesda are on
Sunday.
Yeah. Monday's PlayStation.
PlayStation and Ubi. And then Nintendo doing its thing on
Tuesday morning.
And then Square.
I don't know if Square's doing one this year.
Well, they shouldn't. Assholes.
I don't know what games they have to talk about. We canceled all our games. We got rid of all our studios.
Game of the year? Failure.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. What?
They're not doing a press conference.
I don't think so. They did one last year. Yeah.
It was just Zelda focused though, right?
Oh, Nintendo you're talking about? Oh, we were talking about Square. Nintendo
will definitely have an E3.
Oh yeah, they have like their like
Treehouse.
they have the Treehouse streams, but they also do like a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
They haven't done traditional press conference in like 4 or 5 years or something like that now.
Try for the best.
Yeah, I mean it's good for them. There's really no reason for them to do it. They all get streamed anyway, so they can control it a little bit better. But yeah, they did the Square one last year. That's when we got like the awesome Yoko Taro out on stage wearing the head.
That was last year? No, it couldn't
so.
have been last year. It was the year before that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
Square might have had one last year, but it wasn't Yoko Taro's.
Okay.
I remember that, and Nier only came out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was last year.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. But that was I was like, who is this?
Yes.
So I want to talk quickly about Injustice 2. I beat it, the single player mode, the other day. Got this weekend. It's a follow up to Injustice, a DC universe fighting game from NetherRealm, the people who make Mortal Kombat, and I really liked it a lot. You know, it if you played the first game, it's right in that same zone. I think quality wise, the story I think is probably just as good. There's some aspects of it. It's too in the weeds and too spoilery to talk about that I feel like are a little bit too. There's some conveniences in the story to create interesting fighting matchups that don't feel they really serve the story.
Okay.
Like sometimes you're like, these two characters are fighting because
It's every one of those games.
You know, or like, why are these two characters together? You know, and there's a lot of like times where you have two characters going on missions together, and you know everything happens. The really nice, beautiful cut scenes happen because they're awesome and look amazing, and then it's like, okay, Gorilla Grodd, and it's like it wants to fight, and it's like Black Canary and Green Arrow, and you have to pick either Black Canary or Green Arrow to fight with, and the other one like just runs off to go do something else.
Like, see ya.
I'm like, why wouldn't you just stay and both fight them? Because it's a fighting game where it's one-on-one, but those kind of things happen throughout it. But I like where the story goes. Brainiac is the villain in this one. It's pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I could be wrong. I feel like with Injustice 1, the sort of you lose 2 times and the third time is a cakewalk kind of thing was a little bit different in this one. Like it didn't feel as easy to me as it went along. So either I'm getting worse at the game or they changed the kind of skill moving, the skill adaptation in the game. Like I said, it looks great. It runs solid 60 constantly. The new characters. What I like about the game is that as a fan of the DC universe, there's some weird ass characters in the game that I never thought I see in a game.
I was going to ask who's the most surprising character in the roster.
I'd say Atrocitus is probably the most surprising character to be included.
Oh, okay.
But Dr. Fate is in it as well, which is pretty awesome. He's a really fun character to play as too. Supergirl's in this game. She wasn't in the first game, right?
No.
Yeah. So she's in the second game, and she plays differently as Superman, which is cool. I really liked her. Could you play as Nightwing in the first game? I don't think so, right? He was in the game.
He was already. Spoilers. He was already.
No. The Damian Wayne.
Oh, Damian. Yes, you played as Damian.
Oh, you did. Okay, I couldn't remember if you played as him or not in the game. But he's a cool character to play as. Gorilla Grodd is interesting and pretty cool. Brainiac, when you fight him, he's the last boss of the game. Basically, it's one of those times where you're just like, he has a move that basically takes away half your health bar in one hit. I'm not sure how much that works when you're actually playing, against somebody in the actual game. But he seems pretty overpowered. But who knows how that works out when you actually two people know what they're doing. I really liked playing as kind of the quicker characters because I'm not good with the big, powerful kind of lumbering characters. I really like playing as Harley Quinn. She's to play as. I really like playing as Green Arrow. I like playing him as in the first game too. The Flash, I really like playing as well. And the story. Only problem with the story mode, and it's just the way that all these games are, and it's the strength and the weakness, I think, of them. There are times where you have to play as certain characters, and sometimes they're just characters I was not good at playing as. So it was just sort of a chore to get through those fights to get to the story stuff I wanted to see. Blue Beetle's in it. I don't think he was in the first game.
No.
Firestorm's in it, which is pretty cool as well. Swamp Thing is in it, that's awesome. Poison Ivy is in it.
As a Blue Beetle guy, I like a lot of the designs for the costumes in Injustice, but I like Blue Beetle's regular costume. How is it? Is it?
This is like
Is it Ted or is it Jamie?
This is Jaime.
Jaime.
Yeah, it's Jaime.
Okay, no, not Ted Cord.
Not Ted Cord. So, but it looks just.
Later. Bye.
Injustice does this. I hate all of their
Ted Cord's dead in the comics.
Oh yeah, he is.
He is.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
in the
Injustice comics.
Yeah. Everybody dies.
Okay. In the Justice okay.
Yeah,
in
not in the
universe. In the Injustice comics, they all die.
Yeah. So, that's one of the things. the like Injustice, whenever they do like their Injustice character designs, I hate them. I can't. Superman has this, and I think he had it for a little bit in the New 52. He has this stupid ass like headgear thing. It's got like a chin strap on it, and like it goes up to his head, and it's almost like a half headband.
Yeah, I've seen the designs for that, but I don't think that was ever in the New 52.
I think it was in like the Scott Lobdell time.
He had the high collar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had the head. Whatever. It's like a Kryptonian like head thing or whatever.
Okay.
It looks so dumb. It's so stupid. Like
these were like introduced with the burn stuff. Yeah.
I just don't like that stuff. And there's just stuff like throughout the whole like design. Like the Flash has some stuff that's it's got like that stupid, just like everything looks like it's made of like 100 little pieces of material. And like I get it for some of the characters, I get it, but like for some of the characters, I just don't like them as designs. They do a good job. Like the Jaime Blue Beetle costume is pretty much exactly how it is in the comics. The Firestorm costume is pretty much spot on. Black Canary is spot on. Green Arrow is pretty much spot on, but he has a couple of like, why do you have an extra chest piece here? And like just weird stuff.
Because he's not actually from that universe.
It's true, he's not from that universe, but it looks like he's from that universe. And that I'll say this too. I had totally forgotten like every story beat from Injustice 1. And they were talking about things that happened. I was like, I don't really remember any of that stuff.
The thing is, I played that game to completion, and then went back and read the prequel comic to it for 3-something years.
That's true, yes.
And so, like, I barely remember anything that happened in the game. I do remember Superman killing Captain Marvel at some point.
Yes, that happened.
I don't remember why.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it made Green Lantern and Flash come back to the right side.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I legitimately thought about going back and playing Injustice 1 because I own it because it was free on Plus for a while.
Yeah. I don't remember. Like they were making references to stuff in the game. There's also reference to that Death of Captain Marvel thing.
Okay.
Because Black Adam in one of his like before match lines to Jaime says like, "You are a little boy with too much power, much like the deceased Billy Batson." That's my Black Adam voice.
Fantastic.
Was he in the first game?
Black Adam was not. No.
I think it was.
Was Black Adam in the first game?
I don't remember.
I remember Superman kicks his ass in the comic.
But that was good. He's a good character to play as.
Injustice is really good. Like the whole thing that they did with Injustice is wild. Like, video game where Superman's the bad guy, fine. Like, people love writing about and doing about that, doing that story. But like the prequel comic that came before, and even the comic that's running that bridges the gap between Injustice and Injustice 2, they're all good. They're like way better than they have any right to be. Like I actually started rereading the original Injustice comic, like the first 8 issues last night, because I was like, I want to get back to the very beginning and see what it was like. And it's cool. Good stuff. Tom Taylor wrote the game.
Yes.
Which is great because he wrote the best runs of that comic.
Yeah.
So you gave it to me. It's sitting there. I'm looking at it, and I'm very excited to play it.
And I will say is the dialogue and stuff. It feels very much like you're seeing a comic book brought to life. Like the conversations and the way they go about themselves are very, very good. I think the cinematics are awesome. Like
cool.
You put those cinematics together into a movie, a pretty good movie.
Nice.
With like maybe a little fighting here and there. So, to take place with everything, but really good. And I enjoy it. And I like all the weird characters. There's a lot of, Captain Cold is a pretty big character in it, which I always enjoy. There's a lot of characters in it, obviously. And so sometimes like characters kind of go in and out of the story. And I felt like a little, and again, I might be just be misremembering this. I feel like there was a little bit more of a thread with the first game, even though you bounced around. I felt like it was like a Batman story in a lot of ways. And in this, it doesn't feel quite as like,
well, the weird thing is about the first game was like you would have Batman fight Batman,
right? Because it was like there was
different universe Batman,
yes. And that's pretty much all gone here.
And I'm kind of glad for that.
Yeah, except for Green Arrow, I guess is the Green Arrow from the regular DC continuity, right?
No, the Green. All right, so quick little aside. So the reason Dr. Fate is in this game is Superman in the original Injustice comic starts losing control. And they make these pills to make it so everyone could fight like Superman.
Yes, that I know, because that's in the first game.
Ollie helps get the pill out for mass production or something like that, and Superman beats him to death.
Ah, okay.
Later, Diana I think it was in season 2 of the comic, confronts Superman at a funeral. I'm pretty sure it's Ollie's,
Okay.
and then has a kryptonite bullet, and that she goes to shoot him with. And does, but it doesn't finish him off. It doesn't do the job, and he kills Diana.
Okay.
Dr. Fate, seeing this, says, like, I just can't let this, like, he actually intervenes. So he brings Diana back to life and takes her to an Earth where Diana died.
You mean
Ollie, whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
You're not talking about Wonder Woman. You're talking about Black Canary.
I'm talking about Black Canary.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Where she died and he didn't. And so he's from a completely just different universe where Black Canary is dead. And the two of them get together, and that's like a really sweet moment.
Oh, okay.
And then in the comic that just started back up, he shows up and he's like, I got to bring you back to the Earth. And so they bring Ollie back, and he's like all confused because like there was like a cute moments between Harley Quinn and him. And so Harley sees him and she's like, you're dead. And then she like puts a move on him and she's like, in this universe, we're together. And he's like, what's going on? But yeah, like he's not from the main DC universe.
Okay.
He's just from some other Elseworlds Earth.
Okay.
Which is like just a super neat thing that they did.
So he's voiced by Alan Tudyk in this game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I think whoever the Green Arrow was in the first game was voiced by Stephen Amell from the actual Arrow series.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I think so.
I didn't remember that.
But the rest of the voice cast returns. Kevin Conroy is Batman again, which is awesome.
As he always should be.
Yes. they definitely shoehorn the Joker in because you have to in a DC game. He's like a weird mix between
Jared Leto,
Heath Ledger, and Mark Hamill. It's like some weird like marriage of the three. But yeah,
it's not Hamill voicing him, is it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's Hamill. It's definitely someone trying to sound like Mark Hamill. I don't think it is Mark Hamill though.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. I could be totally wrong about that. I didn't check the voice cast for the most part. But like Phil Lamar is back as Aquaman, which is cool. I enjoyed the Green Lantern story. Was pretty good in it. Like, and again, but I do feel like there's a lot of like references and like if I had read all the comic stuff, I probably would have appreciated some of the stuff more because there's a Dr. Fate stuff. They talk about that in
They do?
They talk about like because he's trying to help and they're like and the Mask is like you cannot intervene anymore. You've intervened too many times.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Like all that kind of stuff.
I like that they reference that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
As somebody who's spent the last 3 or 4 years investing in that universe, it's kind of cool.
It's a good reward for that. Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And it doesn't make everything is understandable if you haven't read the comics, but I always felt like, is there something else I should know from this? Because I feel like I would understand more of what's going on here. But yeah, it's a really good fighting game. There's a whole loot system. There's loot boxes and like loot you can equip to make your characters better. There's moves you can unlock as you get more.
Awesome.
You go along. It's a pretty deep and full package. I definitely think it's a worthwhile game, and if you like that style of game, if you've liked Injustice 1, if you liked Mortal Kombat X, if you like the Mortal Kombat 9, then it's the same type of game.
Very cool.
Yeah. How much more time you put into Prey, Jess? I know you mentioned it way back at the beginning of the show.
I'm about 10 hours into the game now. That game continues to be excellent in just every single way that I can think to describe it in.
You're moving faster, right? You're like burning through the content?
Burning through it at the pace of the slowest fire on Earth. Like my slow burning rage for you. Mm-hmm. It is just slow moving and gets brighter every moment. Yeah, it's going to take me like 40 something hours to finish this 20-hour game. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is they made such an interesting world that I am exploring every nook and cranny that I can.
Hacking every terminal,
reading
all the emails.
I'm reading all the emails, and the emails are like all super interesting. Mm-hmm. That's how you come across different side quests. Mm-hmm. Like so far, I've not run into. I'm 10 hours in the game. I have not run into a person that's given me a side quest. It is like you read an email and it was like, go do this thing. And so there was this person on the ship that like stole a bunch of stuff. Like I've just found this side quest, and it's like, well, where did this person go? They just like vanished. Why? The levels are all like interconnected, but into hubs. So you're transferring from like, you'll be in like this one like lobby area, and it's like, oh, I want to move to another part of the area, to another part of the ship. And so you'll have to literally enter. Their load times are ridiculously bad.
We're doing Justin and I are doing like a game exchange program this year, and that's definitely on it for PS4. But if it wasn't the case, I would have just bought it on PC because I heard the load times are like
bad.
No, on the PC they're like
I'm saying on console.
Yeah, on console.
Bad. There are actually 2 different loading screens to like bring your game up and then to transfer between like areas. When you die, it's not that bad. You're back within like a couple of seconds, 5, 6, 7 seconds, something like that.
Also, we're talking about loading times right now. The Injustice loading times are amazingly fast.
Love it.
Amazingly fast, except sometimes if you die in a fight, you have to rewatch like part of the cutscene that came before it.
Not cool.
That's not cool. But anyway.
So continuing on Prey, I mean, last week I had said, hey, if you like BioShock, it's a good one of those. And I still hold true to that. There are BioShock elements all over this thing. If you also like Deus Ex, it's another one of those.
Yeah, those games are all born from the same DNA. They just kind of went up to separate places. But yes, immersive sim.
You're going at like so many times I've come across like a locked door, and it's like you need a key card to get in here. Normal video games means the key card is in the room. It is in the immediate area. Prey is like, yo, the key card is on the other side of the station. You will find it 5 hours from now, and now you can come back. Or you could take a weapon and shoot it through an open window and bounce it off 2 walls to open the door. You can do that. You can mimic later in the game, or where I'm at now. You can be like, there's a coffee cup inside there. I will also become a coffee cup and roll through the window. The game lets you do these, like, it's one of those like, hey, play it however you want to, but this game actually feels like it's letting me play how I want to. Because I suck at finding key. Like, yeah, I found a key card, but I don't remember where it goes. I don't remember this guy's name. He's somewhere in the ship. So like whenever I'm finding one of those windows now, it's like I'm going to find any way I can to get in here without having to worry about the key card part. There's this really amazing weapon called the glue gun, which lets you like make it like little bridges for you to get to places. Like I've constantly forget this when I'm not playing the game for a while, if I take a break from it, but like you need to look up all the time because there will be spots above you that you can get to that almost always have cool stuff hidden in there. There's a trophy for beating the game without killing any humans, which I thought would be simple. Apparently there are a bunch of humans that are being mind controlled that I don't know it. If they get close to you, their head explodes.
Oh, okay.
So I've already killed a few people like that.
Does that count as you killing them?
I don't know. I just have to wait and see. There's also like, without any type of spoilers, but you will come across decisions that you have to make involving other people. And, you know, there is a risk reward to choosing different paths there. The one person I have come across, and I know there will be more, there was like an interesting play there where it was like, you could do this and you get this, or you could do this and you might get this. So I chose the one, but I have no idea what happens if you choose the other.
That's cool.
And then at any time you can just go out into space and float around in space for a while and find things. And it's, man, if you want to get me dizzy or turned around really quick, give me 0G and no like automatic, like center yourself. Because at one point you have to go through this area of the ship called the guts, and the main elevator is broken. So you have to actually fly through this area that runs up and down the ship. It's just this big zero gravity tunnel, and you just lose yourself in there so easily. Some websites like Kotaku are saying this game is better played by turning off all mission objectives. Like, well, it'll tell you like you're heading this way. You know, don't do that unless you want to spend 60 hours in the game.
Don't play that shit in pro mode.
The thing is, like, I always keep those markers on. Like, hey, you want to go here?
Yeah,
because that lets me know that's the place I'm going to last in the area that I'm in right now.
No, I get it.
I'm going to explore everything else before I go there because I don't want to go there and then accidentally trip something that locks off the part of the station behind me.
Right. Does that happen?
Not in this game, but in so many other games. That's where I got this habit from. It's like, oh crap, I just tripped a cutscene and now I can't go back and explore this area.
I get it.
So that's the way I've always played these types of games. So I always keep it on. But yeah, I mean, Prey is continuing to be really strong right now. I don't know about the ending. People have very mixed opinions about the ending of that game. Some people love it. Some people don't like it at all. There are multiple endings. But as of right now, 10 hours in, like, Prey is a strong contender for me so far this year.
Cool. Awesome.
It has the best you picked up a cool new object or you picked up a side quest music in the history of video games.
Okay, that's a little hyperbolic.
It's not hyperbolic at all.
That's hyperbolic.
It's the truth.
Okay.
You need to hear it.
I will,
I'm surprised you didn't hear it in the tutorial.
I might have.
It's
Maybe
just
it didn't leave an
this
impression on me because it's not that good.
I will throw this table over right now and we will go to war. It's like this cool little jingle that comes up that just fits in with the theme and the soundtrack of that world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to playing it when we make the game exchange.
You have one of my other games right now.
I do have Nier Automata. I haven't played a single player game other than Justice in forever. It's coming up though. That's next on my docket. Is
continuing the list.
Continuing the list. I've been playing more Battlegrounds. I've been watching more Battlegrounds. Lots of Battlegrounds in my life.
One day I'll play that.
It's a pretty awesome game.
One day.
It's a lot of fun. It's like Hitman in a lot of ways, where it's as fun for me to watch as it is for me to play it. So that's pretty cool.
I don't know. I've been watching people play that game. i.e. Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
They're all so bad.
They're very bad.
They're so bad. Like today I was watching and I was like, shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot that person.
Yeah.
He is walking up to your window, peeking in the window, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to watch you with my gun.
But after that, they were like, we're going to get more aggressive.
Yeah.
And then they did worse. Well, because it's like talking about somebody else's content, but did you get the part where Vinny killed 2 people on his team?
Yes.
Which was hilarious.
I was like, what are you doing? Why are you so bad at this?
But I don't watch them win. I watch this.
No, of course I don't. I'll never expect them to win.
Yeah.
But that was just. There's certain parts where even like when you're watching someone play, you're like, do this.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Do this now.
I get so stressed out when they don't look at the map for a long time. I get so stressed out. I'm like, just look at the map. You're so far away. You're so far away where you have to be. And then inevitably a minute later, oh my God, we're so far away. They have to go. But I've been watching Giant Bomb play a bunch of it. I've been watching Polygon play it. And
Waypoint.
Waypoint. I've been watching Waypoint like every day because Patrick Klepek and Austin Walker are doing daily Battleground streams right now, and it's a lot of fun. Austin's okay. He's okay at it for sure. They're better. I think they're better together at actually playing the game than the Giant Bomb guys are.
Giant Bomb guys are miserable.
I feel like Jeff is always like the most like, oh God, I wish I was playing alone. That's what I always feel like with him. But I've been playing it, watching it, having a great time doing both those things. I know there are a ton of people streaming it out there who are probably really good at it, but that's not why I want to. I just want to watch the like hilarity that ensues when people fuck up really badly. That's kind of what I want to see.
Same. I'm enjoying watching all the streams of it.
Yeah.
It is definitely one of those games that is really great to watch.
Oh yeah, it is.
I will one day get to play that.
You will one day get to play.
One day.
One day it'll happen.
When it is not popular anymore.
Hopefully when it comes to console.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I expect that in a month.
I'm expecting an E3 announcement. We'll do a whole prediction show about E3.
My favorite show of the year.
And the Overwatch anniversary event's going on right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So lots of new skins, lots of new.
I bought $20 worth of loot boxes this last
That'll
night,
happen.
which is not the way you are supposed. Sam reminded me that is not how you play Overwatch during events. You wait until the end to buy the loot boxes. I had no currency at all because I had spent them all on the last event, and I saw that Diva skin and was like, I need that in my life right this moment.
Yeah.
Right this moment. And so I was like, whatever. I barely buy loot boxes, so I will go and I'll spend $20. I got 3 legendaries to drop, 2 of which I already owns, and the third was the Genji skin, which is dope.
Genji skin is awesome.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just not great with Genji.
I wish I could give it to a friend who was really good with Genji, so I could see it in games running around rather than me put it on myself. But yeah, Diva skin's awesome.
New maps for their 3-on-3 mode.
Yeah, for like it's like this hero elimination thing, right? Is that a new mode?
The 3-on-3?
It's 3-on-3, but it's not like the old 3-on-3 where it's just like it's the same idea that if your people die, you lose. But this one, if your team wins, it locks the heroes that
you played
as.
Oh, smart, because certain hero combinations were just running amok in there.
Yeah, so I played once last night. I played that mode once, and I was like, oh, I picked soldier first, and I killed all 3 people on the other team. I was the only person on my life, and then the next 3 rounds we just lost horribly because they still got mowed down really quickly, and I'm not as good with any other character as I am with soldier, so I got mowed down as well.
This is why we play other characters.
Yeah.
No.
I can play other characters.
We talked about this.
I play other characters, but it's a different situation when you're playing 3-on-3
I know.
elimination Overwatch, and when you're playing like,
Total Mayhem, which I played last night for the first time.
Oh, okay. That's just what is it? Total Mayhem.
It looks like there's a character limit, like you have to, like the 1 character limit. But your abilities come back insanely fast.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like
your
that arcade thing.
supercharges. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is
Faster?
originally it is faster
Oh
than
wow,
that.
that's cool.
Basically, I was watching Winston just bounce 30 feet in the air, like over, like boing, boing,
Yeah,
like or up and down like crazy. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so we played a couple of matches on King's Row where I had like 9,000 healing for just Transcendence and Zenyatta, like 15, 16,000 healing. And we barely played half of the map.
Yeah.
And then other modes where it was like, oh wow, we just got completely demolished.
I wish they kept the PvE mode.
I'm sure it's coming back.
I just wish it was a staple or something.
I am very positive they're working on some sort of staple of that.
Yeah, because that was a great mode.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. But yeah, like Uprising definitely had like that mode in it, so it made it like stand out a little bit more. This is really cool because all of the cosmetics are awesome that they have out. But as far as like, I don't think there's as much to talk about because it's just like
it's Overwatch.
It's Overwatch, which is great. Don't get me wrong, we've talked a lot about Overwatch over the last couple of years, the last year, whole year now.
I know.
We did a stream a year ago. I think probably today.
Probably.
We
did.
Where we streamed the game like the week it came out.
Memories.
Back when you hadn't played hundreds of hours of it.
It's only 200.
That's hundreds. Matt, let me get a judge's ruling. Is 200 hundreds of hours?
Ooh, I mean technically, but just barely.
Just barely. So I guess like 300 would be more hundreds of hours.
Devil's advocate. I would say 300. Yeah, once you play 300 hours of something, you can call it hundreds of hours.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so 200 hours. I should just call it 200 hours.
I think I might have like almost 200 hours exactly. Like I'm close to that.
You talk to me in 100 more hours, and I'll be on your side.
Okay. We would say Jackie's played hundreds of hours of Skyrim.
Yes.
Might be 1,000 hours by now.
Oh, that's right.
Because she replayed the PS4 version.
That's all right, people. If you haven't been following Jackie, Jackie just left the show to go play Skyrim.
Yeah.
Again.
She plays Skyrim and Destiny. Those are the two things she plays. She turned off her like hidden online thing, and it was like Destiny in Orbit for 2 days.
Straight.
And then she played, and then Hugh gave her shit for it, and she turned it off again.
Yeah. She played I think she played Horizon and enjoyed it.
She did. She loved Horizon. Yeah, she loved Horizon. She played through Zelda too.
Oh, I have to talk to her.
She got 120 shrines.
That sounds like my Jackie.
Yeah. She wrung that game dry. She was like, I'm done. She's like, I have a couple side quests left to do, but I think I'm done. The completionist in me wants me to do them, but I'm not going to do them.
I continue to play Zelda.
I know. Sneaky Zelda player.
Yeah. I have thoughts about that game.
Yeah. Well, when you've played, last time we checked in, it was like 20 hours.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm still like right in that area.
Okay. Yeah.
I found a labyrinth.
Oh yeah, labyrinths are cool.
I don't know what they're. Oh, by the way, I can't find shrines at all.
Do you have the thing that detects the shrines?
Yeah, but like I walk and like I never find any shrines anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Like I right now have five. I have 5 hearts and 9. What do they give you? Orbs.
The stamina orbs.
I have I have orbs I have to go turn in.
Okay.
But like I've been playing the game for 20 hours and that's all I've come across.
That seems wrong.
I have major parts. I have like 3. I've climbed 4 towers.
Okay.
And I've probably visited less than 20 shrines.
Interesting.
So I don't know where
towers and look around.
Yeah, you gotta do some
I've climbed. I've looked. I have the thing that beeps, and it's like I know they're here. I found 2 that I couldn't do because they were hard. They were hard combat challenges. And I was like, I'm just not ready for this. I made my way to Eventide Islands.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm not ready for this.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm running around with 5 hearts and like no stamina.
That's crazy. Well, you need to go trade in.
I have to go trade in the stuff, and I have like I find Korok seeds like they're laying on the ground. I have like 20 of those.
Yeah.
But I can't find shrines anywhere.
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's a weird game.
Maybe it's time to go on a wiki and look at a map.
I'm fine just walking in a direction until I start finding enemies that kill me and then saying, screw you, I'm going to get you. And then I stay in there for like 10 minutes and try to figure out how to kill them.
That's pretty funny. Let's do one more listener question before we get ourselves out of here. This is from William Jimmy Poe, and they say, what is your go-to game when you're feeling nostalgic? Matt, I think this is right in your wheelhouse.
My go-to is always Star Fox 64. I love that game a whole bunch.
So what do you do after the first 20 minutes? What do you do for the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I like about it is that you can have that feeling of accomplishment within like an hour, you know. And it's my favorite game. I love everything about that game.
Cool. That's a good answer. What about you, Justin?
Yeah.
I don't feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh,
No, like when I saw this question, I thought about it, and it's like I don't think I've ever returned to a game out of nostalgia.
Interesting.
Maybe Mass Effect. I played through the Mass Effect games twice, but it wasn't out of nostalgia. Like this is a hard one for me. Like I don't think I have that old game. I take it back. Bubble Bobble.
Bubble Bobble. There you go.
There you go. When I feel like I need to play something, and now that I can because it's on the console I own, it's always like call up Johnny and be like, we need to play one of two games.
That's cool.
And it's Bubble Bobble or Toe Jam and Earl.
Nice. For me, it's part of my, like the Super Nintendo Triumvirate. It's Super Mario World, it's Super Metroid, or it's Link to the Past. And generally, it's not a full playthrough. It's just like, give me 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour with one of these games, and let me just get back there and play it for a little bit, and then I'm okay. That kind of fulfills the nostalgia for me. I mean, there are newer versions of games that, like the Smash Brothers games, are definitely those games for me. I mean, I'll play the Wii U version. Obviously, I'm not going to go back and play the N64 version, or I don't have a GameCube to play the GameCube version on.
Maybe soon, though.
Maybe soon, but Smash Brothers is that for me. Is definitely that game where it's like slipping into like a comfortable shoe. You know, it's just playing with the right people in the right situation. It just that is very calming and peaceful to me before I start screaming about losing.
For me, like that's why I said like I originally don't get nostalgic was because it's not a game that I would go play by myself.
Right.
But when I will return to those two games for the rest of my life, like every couple of years, whenever I can get my one buddy to come over, because it's what we did as kids.
Yeah.
But as far as like playing something by myself, like it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, I'm not, for me, not that much. Like, it doesn't happen that much for me. It's more for me, like, I'll go back to games that are more recent that I just really loved. I'll play a little bit of, like, I'll, like, solve a couple puzzles in The Witness, or I'll play a mission in Metal Gear or something, you know, just, like, because I like the way those games feel and stuff like that. But that's just more on, like, I'm more of, like, I just want something that I know I like, and I want to do it just for a couple minutes. You know, that's kind of what that feeling is. But multiplayer games take up a lot of that for me. I think it's that same sort of feeling to me where I want like just to do something that I know I'll like for a certain amount of time and move on. But thank you for the questions. Thank you for people who wrote in about Destiny 2. We have a couple more questions we'll get to next week, including one about which game do you curse the most at, which I think, Justin, every game.
I'm sure I can find the one.
Yeah.
Speaking of nostalgia, I have a little bit of breaking news.
Okay.
This was just released while we were recording. Netflix dropped the first trailer for the Castlevania anime that's coming out July 7th, written by Warren Ellis.
That's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, it's an adaptation of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, written by a really, really eccentric comic book writer.
Yes, so very eccentric comic book.
And it's an anime.
That's cool.
So
yeah, that's cool.
I think that, you know, maybe I don't hate all anime.
I was gonna say, like, Matt doesn't like anime.
Yeah.
We started this show like that.
Yeah. Going back on it. You can't trust anything Matt says.
I know. I think Trevor Belmont's there, then I love that anime.
Can't trust Matt on anything.
Maybe.
Everyone agrees.
That's what I intend.
Absolutely. They announced a Witcher Netflix show that happened this week as well. Which is pretty crazy. A little more video game inspired Netflix news there, and they let off a lot of people out of IO Interactive, which is a sad piece of news.
I think maybe that's the thing we're looking for with video game adaptations. Maybe it's the thing that we should be aiming for, even though they announced that Spider-Man's going to be Nathan Drake.
That's true. Yeah, Tom Holland is going to play. It's a prequel now.
Prequel.
Yeah,
we'll see if that happens. They've been trying to make that movie.
Yeah,
for so long.
I think video game TV.
Yeah, I mean, I think that longer form. I think the same thing with comic books to me. It's like the longer form storytelling. I think always does better with the TV stuff.
Sure,
but we'll see.
And TV's so good right now.
It's true. It is very good right now. If you want to send any questions for us at talking_games, what do you think of anime? What do you think of the Witcher television show? What do you think about Matt being the least trustworthy person in America?
I'm gonna get tweets about anime now.
Probably, yes.
Please direct all anime tweets directly at Johnny Matt Wood.
Yeah, at Johnny Matt Wood on Twitter.
Answer every one of them.
Email us games at talkingcomicbooks.com. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/talkinggames, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I wish I could give you an easy to follow link for that, but until we hit 100 subscribers, we can't get a custom YouTube name. So
please subscribe,
yes,
like, comment. You know the deal.
Yes, we're at like 65, so let's keep that number going up. Check out our videos, Monster Closet, Resident Evil, but time on Friday, the last part will be up, and you'll see us complete that. And Until Dawn will start going up soon, and we got our other stuff that we're planning as well. I'm going to try to do some streams every Thursday and Friday, like short stuff. Some Battlegrounds. I'm probably going to play that Dead Cells game a little bit, so we'll see how that all goes. You can follow me personally on Twitter. I'm at Bobby Shortle. Justin.
Jarok, J-O-R-O-A-K.
Matt.
At Johnny Matt Wood.
Yeah, I think it's going to do it for Talking Games for this week. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Bobby.
And thank you to all of you who are listening. Until next time, be good to one another.